Hello everyone, my name is Xiaolu Ma. Today we are going to talk about the research example. There are two examples, and one is a quantitative study. The other is a qualitative study. The first one is the quantitative study, and the title of the quantitative study is Effects of a Healthy Eating Intervention on Latina Migrant Farm Worker Mothers. And Kilanowski and Lin published the article in 2013, and in this book, the study was analyzed as a case. The purpose of the study was to pilot test an intervention, the dietary intake and nutrition education program to promote healthy eating among migrant Latina farmer working mothers and their children in the United States. The hypothesis was that the mothers in the intervention would have improved nutrition knowledge and their children would have a decreased body mass index, percentiles, and improved eating patterns. And educational intervention which involved 3 one-hour classes and was made available to an intervention group of 34 mothers and 25 mothers working at different farms and not receiving the intervention were used as a comparison group. The data from the study collected before and after the intervention included mothers' self-reports on food security, self-efficacy, food patterns, and food knowledge. Height and weight measurements were obtained from children aged 2 to 12 years behind a privacy screen. The study was approved by Capital University's IRB by predicted review. The study also underwent a cultural assessment that evaluated the study methods and their congruence with cultural norms. Participating families were recruited through the cooperation of gatekeepers at farms in 2 Midwestern states. And mothers who were interested in participating approached researchers who answered their questions. Parents were asked to complete informed consent forms, and children who were 8 or older were also asked for verbal assent. Consent and assent procedures were implemented by bilingual research team members prior to the intervention. And all forms and instruments were sensitive to low literacy levels and were available in English and Spanish. To enhance privacy, most instruments were administered using audio-enhanced personal digital assistants with questions read to the participants as they listened on personal headphones. All data collection and intervention classes were conducted at agricultural work camps after working hours. In appreciation of the mother's time, the National Chain Superstore gift card was given to them at both data collection sessions as well as at intervention sessions they attended. They were also allowed to keep the headphones used in data collection. And finally, positive results were observed with regard to the mother's nutritional knowledge, and the children in the intervention group had decreased BMI percentiles. Okay, the second study is the quantitative study, and the title of the quantitative study is Grief Interrupted the Experience of Loss Among Incarcerated Women. Hunter and Hans published the article in 2011, and in this book, the study was analyzed as a case. The purpose of the study was to explore the experience of grief among incarcerated women following the loss of a loved one. The researchers used phenomenologic methods in their study. They recruited 15 incarcerated women who had experienced the loss of a loved one during their confinement. In-depth interviews about the women's experience of loss lasted 1 to 2 hours. The researchers recruited women by posting flyers in the prison's day room. The flyers were written at 4.5 grade level. Because the first author was a nurse practitioner at the prison, the researchers used several strategies to diffuse any perceived coercion, such as not posting flyers near the Health Servants Unite and not offering any monetary or work release incentive to participants. Written informed consent was obtained, but because of high rates of illiteracy, the informed consent document was read aloud to all potential participants. During the consent process and during the interviews, the women were given opportunities to ask questions. They were informed that participation would have no effect on sentence length, sentence structure, parole, or access to health service. And they were also told they could end the interview at any time without fear of reprisals. Furthermore, they were told that the researcher was a mandated reporter and would report any indication of suicidal or homicidal ideation. And the participants were not required to give their names to the research team. And during the interview, efforts were made to create a welcoming and non-threatening environment. The research team received approval for their study from University IRB and from the Department of Corrections Research Division. And the researchers reviewed 4 items which they refer to as existential levels: temporality, freezing in time, spatiality, no place, no space to grieve, and corporality, buried emotions, and relationality, never alone, yet feeling so lonely. And in these 2 cases, the researcher has protected the ethical right of the researcher subjects through some measures. Maybe you are also thinking about the ethical issues that may be involved in your research process, and I hope the above 2 cases can help you. That's all for this session. Thanks for your time.